This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
A few years before I started doing the show. And that was only because I had young kids and didn't have time to have meals with people anymore. But there was always time to grab a coffee. All the coffee shop scenes in the Seinfeld series, I never knew anything about coffee or why people drank it. Now, 90% of my existence revolves around the wondrous brown gold liquid, and I've never been happier. The magic of coffee is the complexity of growing it, farming it, transporting it, grinding it, brewing it, pouring it, and assembling it to your personal liking. I love all the ingredients and tools necessary. Try to have that first taste of coffee in the morning and not make an audible sound of gratification. Can't do it. Similarly to the way I see the cars in the show, I don't view coffee as an inanimate. I see it as a companion. I never feel alone if I have a coffee in front of me. It has so many life-affirming properties. I once said in an interview, we want to do a lot of stuff, but we're not in great shape, didn't get a good night's sleep, and we're a little depressed. Coffee solves all of these problems in one delightful warm cup. Okay, the cars. I'm not going to talk too much about the cars, because if you're not an automotive enthusiast, cars are an unbelievably boring subject. I try to keep the impressions of the cars very brief at the front of the show for this reason. How a person could not be interested in cars, I'll never understand. They're such large, important, fascinating objects. They have so many difficult, complex functions they must perform perfectly 100% of the time, or people hate them violently. They're a perfect fit with the comedians and the coffee. The reason I love cars is each one's personality always expresses a moment in mechanical history and culture. People did really seem to enjoy how I would match the car to the guest comedian. That was so easy. Every car is so unique to me, and so much like a person, always trying to please, so often failing. Discovering and describing the world is the only reason I can see for trying so hard to continue living. Because those perceptions are the entryway for loving the world and the life in it. And again, a car is an inanimate object that makes me feel not alone. I've never felt lonely in a car. I'm with something that's got a lot going on. Now the comedians. As humans go, comedians are as close to inanimate objects as you can get. The ability to perceive and describe the human experience in such an entertaining way does not by any means make the comedian a part of that experience. The thing I notice about every comedian is they do not seem to be a part of the terrestrial world. They move perceptually with an alien spaceship-like quickness and unpredictability. They flit and spark in unexpected directions at unexpected moments, and if they're any good, you can never quite track what direction they're going to go next. Good comedy bits are short, dense, and always catching you a little off guard. People cannot move this adroitly on the ground, only in the air. This is always what we seek to capture in an episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Since I know so many comedians, and most people don't know any, I felt perfectly positioned with my video butterfly net to try to show them in their unpackaged natural state. That's the other weird thing about the work of creating these shows. What you are seeing is incredibly raw and totally manufactured at the same time. The video footage, of course, starts out raw, but by the time we edit, shape, reorder, and in a couple of very rare cases, fake what you are hearing and seeing, it has become a very polished piece of whatever the hell this thing is. I swear to God, sometimes I still don't even know. I do know I loved making every single one of them. I love and am so appreciative of every comedian who joined us for a nice drive and a coffee, and also want to thank my production team who did whatever I asked every time, even when there was really no way to do it. To all of them, and to you, our loyal, generous audience, thank you for letting us give you this very special Valentine.
Under the Hood, an oral history of comedians in cars getting coffee. Origins. George Shapiro, manager.
If he's at a party or any kind of an event, if he sees another comedian, He'll run across the room, and that's the basis and the passion for comedians in cars.
Ted Sarandos,